Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Halifax Raiders Draft Glory franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we took on the Montreal Canadiens in the first round of the playoffs, and unfortunately we had the same result as we've always had, which seems to be first or second round exits, and Montreal went on to go to the Stanley Cup Finals only to lose to Los Angeles. So I don't really know what our team needs, because our team, in my opinion at least, was a lot better than Montreal, but Montreal still was able to get all the way to a Stanley Cup Finals, and our team was out in the first round again. So we definitely need to find some way of getting this team to being more championship caliber. Is it we need to take a little bit of a step back during the regular season and not win President's Trophies? Probably, because it seems like when you win the President's Trophy, you're guaranteed not to have good success, because we've won back-to-back President's Trophies, and we've had no Stanley Cup to show for it. So I think if our team takes a little bit of a step back, maybe that will help us in a sense, and we won't simulate as good, and then maybe in terms of the playoffs, we will actually be a better team, which is oddly weird. It's kind of like reverse psychology to what you would think. You would obviously want to make your team the best as possible to win the Stanley Cup, but at the same time, you only want to be just an average team to win the Stanley Cup, it seems like, in this game. But anyways, before we get into this offseason, let's get into your guys' comments and see what you guys have to say about our very disappointing defeat to the Canadiens. So the first comment is from Michael Dose, who says, "You need to get every one of those Halifax players in the locker room and then light Sage to get the bad juju out of the team. LOL." And yeah, I don't know what it is. It's not like we have like bad locker room chemistry either on this team. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's pretty solid, right? Yeah, 65%. We even have a leader in the NHL, which is honestly the guy that didn't even play in the NHL last season. But Vic Habscheid is going to be a leader in the locker room going into next season, which is pretty cool. There's also like Mason, who's presence, but Mason might be leaving the team this offseason. Hamalainen's presence, but you can see there's not really anybody dragging down the morale of this team other than, I guess, yeah, Sonnenberg, Flood, and Booze. Didn't realize those guys were not very happy. I don't know why Sonnenberg wasn't. I mean, we were kind of alternating between all three goaltenders. Flood kind of makes sense a bit, but Booze being disgruntled is not a good thing, obviously, because he's one of the younger defensemen on our team at the moment. But I still don't think there's that bad of locker room chemistry on our NHL team. Like, it should do a lot better than that. AHL-wise, it's amazing. 83%. That might be the highest I've ever seen. 2 leaders and a couple presents. So we are generating like a good foundation of players that like playing with each other and have good chemistry together, but it doesn't seem to translate on paper. Next comment is from Logan May, who says, "I'd load up on your top line in the playoffs. 2, sign whichever goalie is cheaper if you have any cap space for a year until Solis takes another step forward. 3, my Orebro Orcs just won their first cup after losing in the finals last year. And number 4, good luck next year. Drafting a second-line center and a puck-moving defenseman is priority for this team." Yeah, the puck-moving defenseman, we do have one of them in the system, but he is maybe another 2 years out at least, because he hasn't played in the AHL yet, and that is Mr. Hartnell, who's a 71 overall at 22. So hopefully if we play him in the AHL for 1 year, he jumps up to NHL ready for the next season. But he is a puck-moving defenseman. He is two-way. He's not offensive, but he still could definitely help us a little bit more with the offensive load from the back end. I don't really know if we have any other OFDs, though, or 2ADs. We have a lot of 2ADs. There's also Reed Stewart. I forgot about him. He's an offensive defenseman as a top 4, so who knows, maybe he'll be able to come in a few years, but he is still like 3 years out, which is not ideal, because that's probably when our window might be closed with our team and chances of winning a Stanley Cup. But he was saying no to bring back another goalie until Solis is ready to take that next step. I don't really think that's something that we're going to do. We might bring back Norton if we wanted to bring back a goalie, because Sonnenberg obviously is disgruntled. But you can see that I want to get Burkov into the lineup is the only thing. So I don't really want to be having that 3-headed goaltending system again. So I want to kind of run Solis and Burkov, and then we'd have Budens and Michelli in the minors instead. And then both these guys I think should be gone depending on what their asking price is. But likely Sonnenberg and Norton, I'm probably going to still let go of both of them. The next comment is from Sandro Otaku, who says, "Maybe you need to take a step back in terms of roster quality to take a step forward in the playoffs, kind of like what's happening with your Winnipeg series. As far as signings for next season, Haken on a 5x3.75 would be good value. An 8x8 for Booze would be okay, considering he's a medium elite potential. I wouldn't sign Mathieu long term since he's only top 9, and Mason, Demetrius, Sonnenberg, and Norton get fired into the sun. Boucher is at least one positive to take away from the season. Too bad he isn't AHL eligible because that was a massive amount of growth, considering he was a 48 overall out of the draft. As for who you should take, definitely go off the board for Cardwell in the first round. Coop for 7th round also looks interesting, but there's not much else. So he's basically saying that we need to get rid of pretty much both goaltenders. Dimitra, who was in the minors last season, and Mason, coming off his 40-goal season, is kind of demanding a bit too much, at least right now. We'll see when we get to the re-sign stage, but there is a good chance that he's going to be leaving the team as well, which is kind of okay because it does give an opportunity for the medium elite Anderson to jump in. Also guys like Hartman and Richter, that type of thing. So we might have a lot more young guys jumping into our bottom six, which might be a good thing for our team in the future and for right now too. But he was saying to take Cardwell in the first round of the draft. I don't remember who Cardwell was. Let's take a look back at this draft class again, because I honestly do not remember for no reason, even though it was only like 2 days ago that I recorded the last episode. So I don't know why I just cannot remember, but apparently I do not have a good memory when it comes to remembering people. Where is this Cardwell guy? Did I pin him? I might have pinned him. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did. Oh yeah, the medium elite guy that might be offensive defenseman. Right, I remember him now. He's not supposed to go to second round, but he's before our pick in the second round. So yeah, we'll probably take him. And then Coop, yeah, could be a 7th round pick. But other than that, I have no idea what we're going to be drafting with our picks in like the 2nd to 6th round. The next comment is from Flame Husky, who just says RIP, which, yep, I totally agree. I don't know what happened with this team, because I think our team, like I said, looks very good on paper, but for some reason something isn't clicking. And it's not really the coaching staff either, I don't think, because I believe our coach has a very solid scheme fit. Dubinsky actually went up in overall. I just realized that. That's good. Let me see, 59% team fit. Yeah, that's not terrible, but it could be better. But his overall did jump from a B, I think, to an A-, which is kind of nice. But do we have, yeah, this Tarnasky guy's up for renewal this offseason. We might change up a little bit of stuff with the coaching staff, see if that helps out at all. Like, maybe there's a better coach out there than Dubinsky. Dubinsky could then be like an assistant or an associate instead. So we might look to kind of upgrade our coach out a little bit. And then our last comment is from Ian.Lolove, who says, I feel lost. I don't have enough words to describe disappointment briefly, but the press conference should take place. Number 1, what is the plan for next season? What are we looking for most in the drafts? And how are we going to build a team to achieve success? Well, that's a very difficult question. The plan for next season is obviously to get to the playoffs still as normal, because we don't have enough time to go through another rebuild, I don't think. So I think, obviously, making the playoffs is the number 1 priority, but also we want to be like you when you said what are we looking for most in terms of the draft. I'd say it's what like Logan was mentioning, where a puck moving defenseman is very important, and second line center, he was saying, kind of does make sense in a way too, because we've been running Lehman as a second line center, so maybe that's a thing that's been a little bit problematic for us, because technically we've been running Ahin in his top line. Mason was, I think, 3rd line last year because we had Lehman as a 2nd line center, which he's technically not even a center. So maybe it's because we're playing a little bit of players out of their role that it's making it a little bit not good. But yeah, we do not have a lot of time to win win a Stanley Cup in, because Lassik's contract ends soon. And then you also have like Weber, whose contract ends in a few years too. So we definitely need to find a way to make this offensive core a little bit better in terms of like depth scoring wise, and then hopefully our defensive core could do good even without a puck moving defenseman for a few years still, because it's a lot of DFDs at the moment. Number 2, if Norton is in free agents before the start of the season, I would take him for the AHL. It is important to maintain the fighting capacity of both teams. It's time to start noise and threaten the playoffs. So yeah, Norton is an interesting one. Like, he's still kind of young. He hasn't really had much experience with this team. But obviously Sonnenberg would be gone. But the only thing is, with the addition of Burkov, him being an 81 overall at 22, he's already listed as a starter. So it's kind of weird to be playing players out of the role. And if we bring back Norton, for the AHL, Budens and Michelli are not going to be getting an opportunity to play, which I want both these guys to get an opportunity because they're both the same overall. They're both medium elite. Budens is now 19. Michelli is only 21. So we kind of want those guys to take that next step forward, so that way we have a lot of big choices between all of these goaltenders eventually. So I'd say probably Sonnenberg and Norton are both going to be gone, and then obviously we have all 4 of these guys. I don't know if we have any unsigned goalies. Budins is the only one. So we technically should draft maybe some more goaltenders in this episode as well, because we do have a bunch of these guys, but they're all going to be under contract starting next season, which means we probably need more of them down the road just in case one of these guys decides to leave or doesn't pan out for our team. Number 3, maybe it's worth rebuilding the morale of the team. I don't know what he's trying to say there, but distribute captains' armbands, strengthen the sports spirit of those players who have high hopes. So he's trying to basically reassess the captains, I think. So I don't know if I'd reassess the captains, because to be honest, I think we have a good captaincy group. Obviously, Willem being the main captain, and I think obviously like Layman and stuff should be like alternates. I don't think we're going to reorganize that, to be honest, because I don't think it really even affects this engine that much. And then finally, he says Mason, Sonnenberg, Mathieu, Dimitra are out completely if asking prices are too high. Anderson, Hartman, Burkhoff to the NHL. I would recommend looking for a top 4, top 6 offensive defensemen and two-way forwards. Still, if elites aren't eligible at the draft. Heartbroken, but still a fan. Huge fan. Hopefully, the good things are ahead of us. I appreciate that, Ian. And yeah, I tend to agree. We could use maybe some more two-way forwards in a sense. We do have an abundance of some of them, I think. But we don't have a lot of them in our bottom 6, and maybe that's why we're giving up too much goals, is because we're kind of a bit too offensively minded on the offensive side of things. But we aren't as offensively minded from the back end, which that's what we kind of need to. So, yeah, I think definitely drafting that one defenseman, as Aaron Otaku was mentioning, is going to be our top priority. And we got to hope that he's a good offensive defenseman, because that would be very nice to bring in for our team. And hopefully he'd be able to jump to the NHL relatively soon, because like I said, we do not have a lot of time to win a Stanley Cup in. So let's see what happens up happening this offseason, see who we end up losing, see who we end up drafting. But yeah, hopefully it's a good draft for us, and we could use this to build a even better squad in the next 1 to 3 years or something like that. But obviously, with guys like Lassick ending in the next few years, we want to be able to hold on to him if we can when we get to that point. So yeah, we're not drafting at 29th. That really sucks. That sucks. Considering we're a first round exit, I feel like we should have had a higher up pick, but it is what it is. So let's take a look anyways at the top 5 of this year's draft. So the Florida Panthers at 1, what are they going to take? Gamache, 83 overall medium elite sniper. Pretty damn good. Cesar Gamache, he has 4 zone abilities, or superstar abilities, I should say. Yeah, very good shooting categories for this guy. And his offensive awareness is already almost up there as well. So that guy's going to be definitely a future 50-goal scorer, I think. Columbus at number 2 is going to take Ramo. Jani Ramo from Finland, obviously. And he's just got relentless. He's a power forward, good shooting categories. Not the best offensive awareness yet, but if he gets that up there, this guy could be very strong on the puck and scoring goals a lot too. Boston at 3 is going to take Grossman, who's a two-way defenseman. So there's the first defenseman in the draft. Looks pretty average. Yeah, doesn't look insanely good, but he still could develop to being a very good defenseman. San Jose at 4 is going to take Barabel, who's an 82 overall sniper. Damn, that's the second best overall player in the draft. And he falls to the Sharks at 4. So there is Wade Barabel. Really good shooting categories, good offensive awareness, like the first overall pick, and a couple X factors. Not too bad. And then finally, the Washington Capitals at 5 are going to take Voloshenko, who is a medium elite offensive defenseman. That's exactly the type of thing we need for this team. It would have been nice if we would have had a bad pick this year in a sense, just to get this guy, but at the same time, our team's way too good to fall down that much, I think, in a draft. But Vitaly Voloshenko, very solid offensive defenseman, should be able to help up the Caps a lot from the back end. Okay, let's sim to our pick at 29 now and see if we can grab Cardwell, and hopefully he's a medium elite offensive defenseman, because that's kind of what we need. Because the rest of these kind of guys are like top 9s and top 6s. Like, I am kind of scared that this draft is very bad, because we might not be able to get much after these picks. Okay, so we're looking for Cardwell. Let's see, where are you, Cardwell? You should be still there. Yeah, you are. Medium elite guaranteed, but is he offensive defenseman or is he a two-way? I feel like he's maybe more of a two-way just because Dan Hanhuse was the two-way defenseman, but we got to hope. He's a right defenseman that shoots left, which is interesting. You'd think he would shoot right, but yeah, Marty Cardwell, welcome aboard. Let's see how good you are. Medium elite two-way. At least it's a medium elite defenseman. And he is a 62 overall, which is nice. But it sucks that he's a two-way. I was hoping he'd be offensive. But that's a very solid pick there that helps out our blue line quite a bit. Because obviously we will now have ourselves, if he develops into being a medium elite defenseman, we could have ourselves a very solid like top 4 with him added with guys like Boys and stuff like that. Eventually, if we lose Boys, Cardwell could be that guy to take over for him. But sucks that he's not an offensive defenseman, but still a very solid pick for our team. Okay, now let's see if we could build up on that, because this is where it's going to be kind of up in the air on what we draft. There is forwards. I don't know if we really need forwards. This guy's probably not that good potential-wise. This guy's only a low top 4. He's a two-way as well. Do we have anything else pinned in this draft? I don't remember. Just Coop for the 7th round. I guess we got to go with Cahill here, to be honest. Because he's the only one I have pinned around this point. There's no goaltenders either around this point, too. So I guess we'll take a chance with Dwayne Cahill and hope that he's the low lead forward. Okay, Dwayne, welcome to the team. Low top 6. Well, I mean, I think a low 6 is better than a medium top 9, but still, man. Yeah, these drafts are not looking too good for us. Because I honestly have no idea if we're going to be able to draft anything else good in this draft other than Coop. If Coop's a low elite. There is Cheestov here who could be low elite, but there's no guarantees. There's no goaltenders around the stage. There is another Hamalainen, 5 years out. Jeez. Yeah, these draft classes are really not that good. And that's probably been one of our problems as well, is we haven't been able to draft as good as I have in Anchorage. Because in Anchorage, I'm pretty sure I had so many drafts with really good late round steals. But I'm finding it tougher this year for some reason. I don't know if it's just our scouts aren't doing a good job or what, but we are just not able to find good players in these drafts. And these drafts aren't looking good on paper too. So, there is this guy that's a guaranteed offensive defenseman who might have elite edges. Okay, I think I'm going to take a chance on Nikita Vasilyev. I know he's an offensive defenseman for sure. Is he a low elite, though? If he's a low elite, that'd be nice. I think he is maybe going to be a medium 6 or something. I feel like it's not going to be that good, but let's hope that he's that good. He's a very small guy, 5'8", 177, so definitely could tell that he's an offensive defenseman. Let's see how good he is. Low top 60. Damn, man. He has the player type we need, but he doesn't have the potential. If that was a low elite, that would have been very, very nice, but unfortunately it's not. I don't think we're going to get really much else with our picks here in this draft. There is a goaltender supposed to go, so maybe we go with the goalie. There's a guaranteed medium 4, though, here. That's a two-way potentially. He is 19. Doesn't look very good, and he's 5 years out. I don't think that guy would pan out even if he is a medium 4. We're going to go with, I think, maybe the 20-year-old goaltender. He is actually pretty high overall, but he might not have good potential. But I still think I will take a chance on him since he's 20 years old. Gives us another goalie to add to our prospect pool. So Dennis Sims. Do you sim well? Medium elite 64. Okay, I wasn't expecting to be a medium elite, to be honest. But a 64 at 20 is not terrible. But he still might not make the NHL till he's like 25, 26. But does give us another goaltender to add to our prospect pool. We have all medium elite goalies, which is kind of funny. So let's hope that Sims could maybe be that guy that sims well in the playoffs. Is there anything else we could take in these later rounds? We know that there is for the 7th round with Coop. Is there anything else we could find that might be a steal? Like, literally there's low bottom 6s going at this stage. Like, this is not a good class. Yeah, we're getting into the stage where there's medium 7s and stuff. So we have to just take a chance on some of these guys that could be low elite. So, Julian Ness, welcome aboard. Low top 9. Yeah, this is not a good class, man. I hope that there's eventually a good draft class, but I don't know why the quality seems so bad. Okay, round 6, and then we will take Coop probably with the 7th rounder still, I think. Let's double check. Yeah, we'll take him with the 7th rounder because he's not even supposed to get drafted. Right here, though, do we have anything intriguing? Guaranteed medium 9. We'll take a Brian Gertson. Why not, since he's medium 9? I know we're technically not addressing what we need that much, but this draft class doesn't have good quality versions of it. Oh, boy. I didn't realize Timmins was on the board. I didn't realize he was a low lead guy. That would have been kind of nice having a low lead grinder, to be honest, but is what it is. That means our boy that we have pinned might be low lead. So Jerry Coop, he's 17 years old. He's a small little guy, not 6'9", 5'9", 174. Probably a major project player, kind of like Boucher was last year. But is he a low lead? And will he help us out down the road? No. Oh my goodness. 47 overall, low top 6. If only that was a low lead. Low top 6s really are not that great. But this guy could become a good AHLer, but still, I was hoping that would be a low lead, because a low lead sniper in the 7th round would have been very nice, but unfortunately, we did not get one. But I mean, at least I feel like it's better than some of these picks. Inglis would have been kind of nice as a low lead, but we didn't even see him. There's also Douglas, who would have been nice as a low lead. Like, there was definitely some players that we could have taken in the 6th round that our scouts just did not pick up. Rekus as well, or Rekus. Oh boy. Yeah, this is not a great series for our drafting, but it is what it is. There's our draft. At least we get Cardwell, and we also get Sims. And then who knows, the other guys could be wild cards, like Cahill could be a wild card, but not a great draft by any standards. But hopefully that defenseman can become something huge for us. Okay, re-sign stage. This is where it's going to get very interesting. Very interesting. I could bring back all our AHL coaches. I think I'm going to let Tarnasky go for now and see if I can replace him. So we are going to need an NHL assistant coach, but let me try and get back all of our AHL coaching staff, because our AHL team did relatively well last year, so I think they deserve to have the same coaches back for another year. I mean, they might not have the exact same team on paper though next year, because a lot of guys might jump to our NHL team, but it is what it is. So we'll do assistant for Hayduk and goalie coach for Eastwood. Should I bring back Eastwood as a goalie coach? Yes. Yeah, I should. Okay. I'm going to have to probably fire a coach at the start of the season just to reorganize the coaches a bit. So, Eastwood, welcome aboard. We'll see if all 3 of them accept. If one of them rejects, that's okay. And wow, we have a lot of scouts to re-sign. My goodness. And a lot of our scouts are A-rated, so we should technically be scouting much better, but it just seems like each class is not good either on paper. But it is what it is. Okay, let's see. We'll also definitely take a look and see if there's any other A-rated scouts that are out there that we can replace our current ones with. But if there's not, then we have to keep it the same scouting group. But I am hoping, obviously, that we make the playoffs next year. I think we'll be a playoff team again next year, but I am also very concerned about that our team's just dropping off, because we are getting to that point where guys like Wilm, Ahin, and Lehman, they might start taking hits in terms of overall rating because they are getting older, which will also hurt our team a little bit more so. But that could be good too, because maybe we just want to be more of an average team than a flat-out good team. So, okay. Re-sign stage here. What do we got? Only 23 million in cap space. Oh my goodness. That is not a lot of money to spend. Not a lot at all. Not a lot at all. Okay, so let's start off with our RFAs here. Let's just get let me see. Haken, we were thinking about a 5-year deal, wasn't it? Yeah, Haken on a 5-year deal would be good still. What was it that Sarantaku was saying? 5 by 3.75. That might even be an overpay based on this. Let me open up my calculator here. And I'm going to try the 85% trick with him at this stage, because it would be really nice to lock him up long term in case we lose somebody. So if we do times 0.85, I might be able to get him for like 3 million on the dot. So a 5 by 3, we'll try that for Mr. Taro Haken. And he was saying Booz is okay on an 8 by 8, but he is 25 already. Yeah, I feel like that might be an overpay at that stage. If I do a 5-year deal, let me try the 85% trick again here with him. Might as well try that out for some of our RFAs. See if I can get them for cheaper than they're asking for. So we'll try 5 by 5.5 for Booz. And then all these guys should be relatively cheap. Anderson only wants a 2-way deal, so he's got that. Paco shouldn't want much. He does want much. We will just qualify him because he's got a couple more years anyways. Hartman wants a 2-way. We'll give him a 2-way. Addison wants 1-way. We will qualify him. Cracknell wants two-way. We will give him that. Burish will give two-way. We might let go of some of these AHLers, though, to be honest. Pecker's already 25. Audette's already 25. I'm going to be letting go of both those guys because they aren't needed anymore at this stage. They're going to get replaced by younger guys. Solis is already trying to get paid like a starter. He only has 1 year before he's a UFA. I didn't even realize that. Okay, we're going to give him a little bit of term here, I think. Or maybe we'll give him a trial run. 2-year deal. And we will see if I can get him on an 85% trick as well. But yeah, we do not have a lot of cap to spend, which is not nice. So we will try and get him down to 3.95 for 2 years. It's a little bit of a trial run for him. We do have other goalies that could replace him down the road too, so that's why it's a little bit of a shorter term deal. It's not a long-term deal like we gave to Sonnenberg at one point. Let's go to the bottom of this list here. So we're already going to let go of a couple of these guys that aren't going to pan out. But we definitely are going to be signing Dodge since he's got top 6 potential, even though he's already 22. We will sign Turnbull, and I don't know, maybe we'll definitely sign Raymond. We'll definitely do that. We'll also definitely sign Hartnell. Maybe I won't sign Turnbull. When did we draft him even? 5th round. He's looking actually pretty okay. You know what? We'll give him an opportunity as well. And we are going to also let go of like Kozlov. We're going to let go of Wilson for now. We're going to kind of clean house a bit with our depth. And then we have only 4 UFAs other than the goaltenders. We are definitely going to sign Budens to his ELC. Let's advance today and just get all these contracts that they offered out of the way. So that way I know if people are accepting. Mink does not want to accept a role like that in the AHL. That sucks. Same with Hayduk. So our AHL coaching staff is going to get completely revamped, I guess, which kind of sucks, but is what it is. And we have a bunch of scouts accepting, which is really, really annoying. I wish they would have this as a small little pop-up instead, but is what it is. Okay, so all our UFAs accepted. Haken did not accept his extension yet, so we will try that again. We'll try 5-year deal at, let's go 3.25, because that's still a good deal. And then these guys are qualified. We have only 16 million in cap space, so once we get him signed, we'll be down to 13, which means, yeah, Mason and Dimitri are likely gone for sure. The goaltenders are likely gone for sure as well. What is Sherov wanting? He wants a 2-way deal, so Sherov is likely going to be retiring soon. We're going to give him the 2-way deal. He might play in the AHL next season, but I still want to hold on to him until he retires. If he's going to only want a 2-way deal, might as well, right? It's not like he's going to constrain us cap-wise. What about Mathieu? Mathieu is kind of expensive, but he's not terrible. I'm going to wait a day on him still to find out if these other guys accept. Oh, Haken accepted, I think it just said, which is really nice. Because that's a good little contract extension, good little term. And Sherov rejected? Yep, he rejected. Come on, Sheriff. Yeah, I'd accept that. Let's give you the max 2-way deal and see if you accept. Because that would be good. I think we definitely will. How much are these guys going to be costing us? 3 million. That would knock us down to 11. And only 1. So that would knock us down to 10. So I could bring back both Mathieu and Sherov, and then we'd have to drop Dimitri and Mason likely. And then goalie-wise, we'd drop both of these goaltenders. Because I think Norton, yeah, Norton's trying to get 6 million. That's too much for me. And Sonnenberg's trying to get 7. So both the goalies are going to leaving the team, and they will not come back. We'll have to trust in the younger goaltenders. And then Mathieu, let's see, I should be able to get you on a 1-year deal at 2.7. At least I'm hoping so. And then what is Mason and Dimitri wanting? Mason wants 6 million for a year. So yeah, he's gonna not even do that well next year, and then he's gonna get paid for a year. But we will likely be able to bring him back in a few years if he's a free agent again, which is nice. But obviously he's got to drop that asking price quite a bit. And then yeah, Dimitri was playing in the AHL the entire year. He's not worth almost $7 million bucks. So those two guys are definitely gone. And same with the goaltenders. Let's see, did Mathieu and Sherov accept? It looks like Sherov did accept that max 2-way deal, which is great. And Louis Mathieu rejected. Okay, Mathieu. We only have a couple days left to sign you. Let's see if we can get you back. Let's give you let's give you a little bit more than you're asking for. It's only a 1-year deal. 2.9. There you go. Okay, so we have $12 million left in cap space, and some of it's being spent on these guys. But yeah, Mason, Dimitra, Sonnenberg, and Norton are all going to be gone. So let's do our send-off to these guys. So Dan Mason, he might come back at some point because he is still only 28, but coming off a 40-goal season and a disappointing playoffs, he will be headed to the free agent market. He was mostly a bottom 6 guy, and then for some reason this year he just went cracked mode. So shout out to Dan Mason. When did we draft him again? 2nd round in 2027. Best of luck in free agency, man. And then we also have Dimitra, who was drafted in the 2nd round in 2026, so a couple 2nd rounders. He was really good in the AHL this year. He was actually okay sometimes in the NHL, but we needed a change up. And yeah, best of luck to him. Maybe he comes back at some stage as well. So there's a couple guys gone. Then we have Sonnenberg and Norton. I think our team's definitely going to lose a lot of morale for losing these type of guys, but it is what it is. Like the $7 million and stuff like that, like it eats up pretty much all of our cap space that we have left, and we have to spend some of it on our RFAs. So let's send off Mr. Sonnenberg, probably the best all-time goaltender in terms of wins and stuff in this team's history at this moment. Former 4th round pick. Had some very solid years, had some not so good years, and then his playoff numbers have been very inconsistent. He was good, very good 1 year. He has not been good in the other years though. So best of luck to him in the free agent pool. And then also Norton. Not a lot of time in the NHL. Very inconsistent as well. Playoff-wise, had really good numbers a few years ago. But once again, another inconsistent playoff goaltender. So best of luck to both those guys in the free agent market. It's going to be weird running 2 different goaltenders this year completely. But you can see what we got now with our goaltenders in the system. So Leeson, Burkov in the NHL. Burkov's up to an 82. He might even be the starter next year. And then we got Budens and Michelli in the AHL. And Sims, who is unsigned. Is there any unsigned guys we want to sign to a contract? Not Boucher yet, because he's not AHL eligible. He is a pending UFA next year, though. Sakara. I don't think any of these guys need contracts, right? Probably not. We could sign Cardwell already. But I might wait a year. I might wait a year on him. Yeah, I think I'm going to wait 1 year. We actually do have a lot of contract spaces, though. You know what? We'll give Cardwell already a contract to play in the AHL just to see if he could get some development. So there's that. And I think that's the only thing we're going to sign for the AHL. Perfect. Okay, so let's advance to free agency here. Our RFA should be accepting soon, too. I would assume. Yeah, we're not going to be bringing back Charnaski, which means we needed a new NHL assistant coach. I know this episode's probably going to be running long because of all the stuff we've had to do, but it is what it is. Let's start off with our scouts. Is there any new scouts that we can bring in that are all in the A-rated, or are we not going to find anyone else? There is one here in Purcell, so we'll bring in Purcell and see if Purcell accepts. Do we have the max amount of scouts though? Yes, we do. We need to fire one of our scouts, so we'll fire. Who's our worst rated scout? Grachev. Okay, so we'll fire Grachev, who is a B-rated scout in Russia, which means this other scout that we're just hiring right now is going to be a Russian scout. So we're going to have to assign him there at the start of the season. So I got to remember about Russia. And we do need to replace our entire AHL coaching staff almost, but I don't know if I'm going to really look super in depth into doing that at the moment. Maybe I should. But I don't want this episode being an hour long, but it might have to be at this point. Let's look at NHL assistant coaches. I might wait till the start of the season to find some AHL coaches a bit. Okay, let's see. Is there anybody that could maybe help us out in terms of our team a little bit here? Anybody with a high team fit? 54% on Seth O'Neill. Or maybe we just want to sign the best available. I don't even know. Stevenson's a 55. That's pretty solid. As an assistant coach. How's his teaching grades? A-. That's not bad. Not bad at all. You know what? He's not bad, but he is 63, so he could retire soon. Is there anybody else? Trying to find somebody with high team fit. Looks like he's definitely the highest team fit, but there is some 54s as well. We kind of want to maybe find a bit of a younger coach than the other guy, though. Because this guy being 63, he could retire soon. We wanted somebody that can maybe grow with the team a little bit more. 61 for Seth O'Neill, his age. Is there anybody with a 54 up here? Yes, there is. Clint Peros, who's 61. He is an A- overall coach. Very good teaching grades. Okay. You know what? We'll bring in Peros as an assistant coach if he wants to. I know it's out of his role, but he might end up being our head coach if he's good enough. Let's give him a max deal, and we won't worry about the AHL coaches just yet. We might do that soon, but right now it's not important. So let's advance a few days and see if our coach accepts, because that's the first thing that we need to get in. So Purcell, the scout, has accepted, so he's going to be going to Russia, and Peros has joined our coaching staff, which is great, with little drama apparently, which is kind of nice. So we have our NHL coaching staff set out. Obviously, we'll take a look and see if Peros is a better fit when we get to the start of the season. I probably won't hire any AHL coaches yet. I'll probably wait on that. So, yeah, we'll wait on that, and we will begin the sim up to next season and see if our RFAs start to accept, because they probably will, because they're kind of cheaper guys. Oh, wow. Are you kidding me? This is the first time we've been offered a thing like this. So Paco's only played 1 year in the NHL, but Florida wants to basically offer sheet him for a 3-year deal at 3.825, which would give us a free second round pick. But if you remember, like multiple seasons ago, you guys told me if I had the cap space, I had the match to offer. If I didn't have the cap space, then I could take the compensation. I have the cap space for this. So unfortunately, we're going to be forced to play Nicholas Paco 3 by 3.825, which is a very steep contract for the fact that he's barely played in the NHL. But we have to take this because that's the rule with this thing. So we are going to match that offer. And Addison's also been qualified, but we're going to have to match that offer of a 1-year deal at 1.4. See, that's why we needed to have that cap space available for those guys. Because if we didn't have the cap space available, then there was a chance that we could have had to let those guys go. But we have $9.5 million still, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I do not like that we have to pay Paco that much, because he's getting paid more than Felipe Flood is. He's actually getting paid almost around as much as Boys, but Boys is going into the last year of his contract, so that Paco contract might make us lose Boys, which is not great, but it is what it is. We needed some change up, and we had to accept that. So I didn't expect those guys to get qualifying offers, because most of the time we don't get any of those type of things, but they did this time around. So that means we are all set and ready to go for the season, but we do need our AHL coaches. But I will take a look and see first if we actually need anybody. We do have already an AHL head coach, which is good, but it would be good to get like the goalie coaches and all that, so that way we could get the best simulation possible with our AHL team. Okay, so let's stop the sim here. We won't even look at our lines just yet. Let's take a look first at who's going to be our best NHL coach. So we have Dubinsky on 57, McLeod on, I can't even take a look at that yet. I have to promote and demote. So let's move Dubinsky down for now. We know that McLeod wasn't working well with our defense last year, so 64%. We're going to demote him for a second. And Peros, the new guy, is a 59. What was Dubinsky again? What what was Dubinsky again? I think he was like a 50 something as well. 57. Okay, so I guess then not George Peros, but Peros is going to become our new coach, because Dubinsky has the lowest team fit, but he was good with our team last year. So we'll make Peros our head coach for now, and we'll make Dubinsky the assistant, McLeod the associate. But we will see if Peros actually fits well with this team in terms of coaches. Then we got to assign the one scout that we brought in, which he is assigned, I think it was to the AHL right now, right? Yeah, Purcell. We are going to have to change him over to Russia. So let's get him to Russia and scouting out there. Perfect. And it's good and set up. Okay. So now let's take a look at our lines and see what we're working with. We also do need to call up and send down some guys. so that way we can get our line set up as best as possible. So let's go to roster moves here first. See if there's anybody that hasn't been called up that should be. So goaltenders, Solis and Burkov, both are 84 overalls. That's going to be interesting. And then we have both 71s in Michelli and Budens. Not too bad. Defensively, yeah, Flood dropped off a lot because of statistical, but he should be in our lineup hypothetically this season. Cracknell is technically ready. He is listed as a top 6. You have Booze down there. Why is Booze down there? Never mind. Booze and Cracknell should probably both be up here. Is Mangone listed as a top 6? He is. Huh. Yeah, and we have a little bit of morale problems on our team. Trying to see how we could set this up so everybody's happy. Yeah, okay, so we might have to send Flood down to the AHL. Might have to. Or do we give Mangone another year in the AHL? He was solid last year, plus 19. I feel like he's only a low top 4. You know what, I think I might send Mangone back to the AHL. Technically, we do need a depth defenseman, which means I could technically use, what's his name, Cracknell. But he is listed as a top 6, so I think what we're going to do is we are going to send Mangone down because of his potential. And that way Felipe Flood can play in the lineup and hopefully he gets a little bit more morale back. And Flood should be okay with his ice time. Let me just go best lines here for a sec. We are going to still have to call up more players and send down more players as well. So we will go back to our edit lines here and see if there's anybody else to call up for our forward group. Let's see. Those guys aren't ready yet. Buzaz isn't. Sharov and Addison are technically the only ones, but Hartman and Anderson are both 79s now. So, and Habscheid's an 82. Love to see it. Love to see it. How much forwards do we got technically? In 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Anderson would be the 13th. Hartman would be scratched as well. I might have to have those young guys scratched, or I play them in the AHL and call them up when I need them, but they go through waivers is the thing. Maybe I'll just keep them up here and I'll actually have them as scratches and they'll come in if there's injuries. Because that's the only thing that works. And then Addison technically should be up here, but I don't think there's room for him anymore. And then Sharov can't really get up here either. That sucks. Well, this is going to be very interesting. I don't know if I want to scratch some of these young guys, but we got to rework our lineup a bit here. So let's go best lines. I don't know if I already went best lines, but let's readjust this. So let's go back to our original top line. We are definitely way weaker down the middle than we've ever been, which is not ideal. But we might have to put somebody not at center who's not supposed to be there. How's Anderson's face-offs? They're actually pretty good. Richter, not so much. Richter could jump up maybe into the top 6 almost. Holy crap, man. We have so much people, like, literally, like, this is a second line forward. Both those guys are second line forwards. Oh, boy. Like, we almost have way too much players. See, that's why it was kind of good that we let go of some people. But, geez, who's scratched at the moment? Haken should not be scratched. Habscheid shouldn't either. What the hell do I do with this team, man? Oh, my God. Okay, yeah, we have to keep those centers in those spots almost. Hartman, was he not good at face-offs? No, he was good. Okay. What the heck do I do? I might have to send some of these guys back down to the AHL. Because Richter and Hartman are technically not ready, it seems like. Considering we have the fact we have Haken and stuff that need to be in. Like, let's just throw these guys in the lineup right now as is. But we might have to send down those 79s. That way they're getting playing time. Habscheid can't take face-offs. None of those guys can. We have a lack of guys that can take face-offs on our NHL team. Way too much wingers. Oh, that might actually be an actual good thing to do. What we could do is run Wilm down the middle, Ahinen on second line. We probably have to run with Del Rivera's top line, Lassick is second line. And then we probably run, let's see what we could do here. That's still a lack of centers, though. Trying to think of what we could do. Because I don't know who could run that third line center spot. Because, yeah, we have like a lot of left wingers. We do not have enough centers. Like, there's so much guys that are going to be out of position. Like, we should not even brought back Louis Mathieu at this point. Like, he should be technically scratched. And that way we could get one of the younger guys in. We might have to send Mathieu to the minors to get, like, Richter or Hartman in. But these guys are all going to lose morale because a lot of them are listed as third-line scoring forwards. I might have to put somebody that's not a centerman down the middle. And then that way we scratch Anderson instead. Yeah, I am very confused on what to do with this forward group. I need your guys' expertise on this. What the heck do we do? Do we just send Hartman and Mathieu down to the minors? And then what the heck do we do with our wingers? Because we might have to honestly play some people completely out of position here. Like, we might have to go to Del Rivera as a third-line center or something like that. So that way we can have all our left wingers up here, higher up in the lineup. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that. I do not know what to do with that. And then defensively, it doesn't look great right now. But once we actually get... the morale back up on the defensive core, it should be okay. And then goaltending-wise, it's two young guys. Yeah, this is it's still a very good-looking team, but it is very weird to set it up. Keeping Habscheid on the top power play might make sense. Same with Haken, getting him on a big power play unit as well. Just because those guys aren't getting a lot of ice time behind Hamalainen and Weber. We've drafted way too many good left wingers. Like Lehman, Weber, Lassick. Like, maybe we should have let go of Lehman in the offseason. At this rate. God damn. Okay, that's that. Let's take a look at the AHL quickly. Make sure we got everybody in. That should be. Everybody is in the lineup. That's good. Hartnell's playing offense. Why? And Cardwell is as well. We have way too many defensemen, but not enough forwards signed. Yeah, we have more questions about that. I don't really know. We can't get away with the minus, so we might have to play some of those defensemen as forwards, I guess. Which is kind of not great. I honestly have no idea what to do. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'm going to leave you guys with that. So there is that. Anything else we want to take a look at beforehand? I do want to go to the free agent pool again just to see if there's any former players there. For a split second, since we are later into the series now. Don't really see any at the moment. But yeah, we have a lot of questions on what we want to set our lineup like. And I know you guys are going to probably leave it up to me to do, but I'm honestly going to be confused on what to do too, because we got just way too much left wingers, not enough centers. And what do we do with our young centers? Do we send them just back to the minors so they actually play? Because obviously using them as depth, not a great thing. But obviously if we want to send them back down, if we have to call them up, they'll go through waivers. And obviously we don't want to lose them, so we got to make everybody happy on this team if we can. And how's the morale quickly? 65% still. And it's trending downwards, but it will be better probably once we actually start simulating, my guess. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll make some interesting decisions in setting up our lineup, and we'll obviously sim the season, and hopefully, well, this team should be a playoff team unless the morale drags us down, but hopefully our team's kind of a bit more average in a sense, so that way when we get to the playoffs, we can kind of go farther than the first round this year. So let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.